All right, ladies, welcome to yoga. We are actually going to start lying down this evening. So let's get into the center of the mat and lie on your back, just like in Shavasana. So we're going to start in Shavasana. We'll also end in Shavasana. So allow your legs to be mat-width distance apart and allow the hands to be palms face up. And take a nice deep breath in through the nose. And then out through the nose. And now allow yourself just to settle into this moment. Allow any of your worries to melt away. Allow your face to soften. Relax through the jaw area. And just notice your body. Notice the connection onto the mat. Bringing awareness to the breath. Begin to draw the breath nice and deep. So on your inhale, notice that the belly is going to rise. And exhale, belly falls. And ever so slightly drawing the navel in toward the spine to help squeeze out any bit of the air, creating space in the lungs for your next inhalation. Also, we'll take a couple more nice deep inhalations. So we're inhaling through the nose. Allow that belly to rise as you're inhaling. Exhaling, squeezing all the air out. The belly falls. Taking one more nice, deep, long inhalation through the nose. And on your exhale, you can open your eyes. Let's inhale the arms up over the head. Bring the feet together. Stretch those toes and stretch the arms in opposite directions. So stretch it, lengthening the body. And then on your exhale, let's bring the arms up and down. And then inhale the arms up, all the way up, and draw them back behind you. Chin is slightly tucked here. And then we can inhale as we lift the arms again. And then you can exhale them as you draw them down. And then we'll inhale and lift. Nice and slow. And then the exhale, we can bring them back down behind us. They're kind of breaking up the breath here. Taking the arm movements nice and slow. So one more time, let's inhale as we lift the arms up. And exhale as you float them down. On your inhale, lift that leg, draw the knee in, interlace your fingers just below the knee, and just draw the knee in toward the chest. Just feeling a nice stretch here. Ground those shoulders down. And now release the leg, straighten it up toward the ceiling, and allow the leg to float down. Allow it to meet the other leg. And now inhale, lift the leg, bend your knee, your other leg, sorry, the left knee this time. Interlace the fingers, draw the knee in. Slightly tucking the chin, shoulders grounded down. Nice stretch through the hip here. Beautiful stretch for the sciatic. And stretching the front of the thigh as well. And then release the leg straight up to the sky. And on the exhale, allow it to float down. On your next inhale, bend both knees and give yourself a big hug. So draw those knees in towards your chest. Again, bringing the back of the neck onto the ground and slightly tucking your chin and press the tailbone down. Just draw the knees in towards your chest. Shoulders are grounded. And then you can begin to rock from side to side. Beautiful. So we're going to release the knees, but just allow the soles of the feet to come onto the earth. So the knees are going to remain bent. And we're going to come into a little twist here. So take the arms out to the sides and allow the knees to fall over to the right. So keeping your shoulders grounded as the body twists. Coming into our twist here. Taking the eye gaze over to the left if it's comfortable for the neck. Continue breathing. And now take the legs, the head back to neutral, the knees back up through the center, over to the left side. Shoulders are grounded. Eye gaze over the right shoulder if it's comfortable. And close the eyes if you like and breathe. And back to neutral. Knees back to center. And then allow your knees to open. So the soles of the feet come together, and the knees open up. Might hear some popping. You can bring the hands onto your belly. Feel that connection to yourself. And then notice your breath. So nice deep inhaling through the nose, allowing the belly to rise on your inhale. And then exhale, the belly falls. Deep breathing. One more nice deep breath. Inhale through the nose. And then rises. Exhale through the nose. So you can use your hands to help draw those knees back together. Give yourself another big hug. And this time we're going to start rocking back and forth and eventually coming to sitting up. So you may need a little help to get going, or taking the hands behind the thighs may help you. But using a lot of your core to begin rocking. So we're going to rock back and forth a couple of times. And when you come up, if you can practice keeping your feet off the ground. So rocking back a few times, a nice little massage on the spine. Also a great little core workout here. And then we can come all the way up to seated. And we're going to come into a tabletop so we can wrap those legs around and come onto all fours. Okay, so spread those fingers nice and wide. And we'll go through a cat-cow here. So inhale, drop the belly down and lift the chest, lifting the heart. Draw the shoulders back. Tailbone is up. exhale as you round, pressing the ground away. Relax the head down, draw the navel up to the spine. Inhale, dropping the belly. Of course, going at your own pace if you like. Your inhale, the chest is up, shoulders back, tailbone up. Exhale, rounding like a cat, pressing the ground away. Relax through the crown of the head. And then one more time. Inhaling to your cow. And when you're ready, you're going to exhale to your cat. Beautiful. So I want you to sit back onto the heels. So we're going to open up the knees, come into our child pose. So sitting back on the heels, stretch the arms forward, bring the chest down onto the mat, forehead onto the mat or onto a pillow, and feeling a nice stretch through those hips, hopefully. So really sitting back into the heels, pressing the chest down, forehead to the mat. And then stretch the arms forward. So walk the fingertips forward, creating a beautiful stretch in the front of the body. And then really getting into those hips. And then stretching out of the sacrum. And stretching through the lower back. And breathe. Now we're going to come back up through table. Bring the knees together. And then tuck your toes under. So tucking the toes under, we're sitting back on the heels, getting a nice stretch through the toes here, through the feet. Inhale, arms up. We're going to do our eagle arms, stretching the arms. So inhaling, arms come up, and then the left arm under, right arm over, and wrap those arms around. So you can either wrap through your eagle arms, and if eagle arms doesn't work really great for you because the shoulders may be super tight, you can always just give yourself a really big hug. It's definitely the same effect. But if you're in your eagle arms, you're drawing the elbows down. If you're giving yourself a big hug, just squeezing yourself really tight. So breathing. So be mindful of the core right now. So allow your core to help you sit up nice and tall. Engaging the core as we're working this too. Okay, so we're going to release the arms. So untangle them, inhale them all the way back up, and then exhale them down. And this time the right arm goes on the bottom, wrapping the hands around. You're giving yourself a big hug. If it's too much on the feet, go ahead and untuck the toes for the side. So eagle arms, drawing the arms down, engaging through the belly again. If you find that you've lost that integrity there. Breathe. Beautiful. So release the arms. Inhale them all the way up. And then exhale and come all the way up onto the knees. So stretching, sitting up on the knees. Let's stretch the right foot out. So the toes are going to face forward. Let's see my toes. My toes are facing forward. The hip is directly over the knee. We're going to walk our right fingertips down the right side of the leg. And then inhale, lift the left arm up and then stretching it over. So feeling a nice side stretch through the left side body. So pressing down through your left knee, stretching over, breathe. Breathing here. And then release. So on your release, you inhale to lift back up, exhale the arm down. We're going to draw the right leg in and then the left leg out. So the left leg is out, toes are facing forward, walking those left fingertips down the left leg. Inhale, right arm comes up. So the right hip is staying in line with the hip and we're stretching the side body. So stretch, reach it over, breathe. You can draw the shoulder back to keep the chest open to the sky. Breathing. Keep the chin away from the chest. Beautiful. So we inhale as we lift back up. Exhale the arm down. Draw the leg back in and find yourself back in tabletop. So we will come into a downward facing dog. So let's draw the hands forward beyond the shoulders, tuck the toes under, lift the hips up, and draw them back. Pedaling through the legs. Nice stretch through the legs here. Relax the crown of the head down. So just relaxing the neck here. And now taking both heels and actively pressing them down and breathe. And see if you can kind of pull the shoulders away from the ears. They sometimes tend to want to creep up. So shoulders back and down, and then pressing the chest down toward the thighs. And see how that feels as opposed to kind of letting the shoulders creep up by the ears. So draw the shoulders down and away. Pressing the chest toward the thighs. And then release the knees back down. And we're going to come into our upward dog. So keeping the hands stretched out, we're going to allow the hips to sink forward. And then untuck your toes. Breathing here. And now transitioning back to your downward facing dog. So lifting the hips back up, tucking the toes, hips up and back. Breathe. And we're going to transition back to upward facing dog. So you can come through the knees or through plank, whatever is available for you. So if you're back through upward dog, if you can engage the thighs and try to lift those off the ground. That's another challenge. So again, from upward facing dog, let's transition to downward facing. So you can come through your knees or back up through plank. But whichever way that you are transitioning, being aware of the core and allowing your core to kind of lift you through it. Breathe. So one more time, back through the knees or plank, and then to your upward facing dog. So either thighs are lifted or they're on the ground. Breathing. And now this time we're just coming into our downward facing dog. So knees are down and apart, sitting back into child pose. Stretch the arms forward, forehead to the mat, and breathe. So this time, let's lift the wrist up off the ground. So forehead to the mat, still lifting the wrist up, making it a very active child pose here. Breathe, stretch the fingertips forward a little bit more. Sit back on those heels. Press the forehead and the chest down. Beautiful. Relax the wrists. And then come back up into your table. So we're going to go up into another downward facing dog. Stretch the legs, and then we'll come to standing. So from table, you can draw the hands forward again. Fingers spread nice and wide. Tuck those toes. Lift the hips up and back. Press both heels down toward the ground. And now we're going to take the right leg. Lift it up. Stretch those toes to the sky. Let's roll the ankle in one direction a couple of times. And then take it the other way. And now we're going to open up the hip even more. So you can really draw that foot back and then bend the knee. So bend the knee, kind of lift the knee up. See if you can get the foot toward your glutes. Breathing, looking over the shoulder. Looking over the left shoulder for the foot. And now extend the leg back up and down. We'll take that on the other side. Stretch those left toes up. Roll the ankle one way and then the other. And then bend the knee, bringing the foot toward the glutes. Then lift that knee up so you can feel a beautiful stretch in the hips here. Looking over the right shoulder this time. And eventually, you see the toes starting to appear. Now extend the legs back up and down. And then begin to walk the hands back So readjust the footing. The feet can be apart, but they're parallel, so your toes are facing forward. Go ahead, bend the knees and grab opposite elbows. Relax the neck so the crown is reaching toward the ground and the hips are lifting up. Feel the soles of your feet connecting to the earth, and feel the weight and how the weight is distributed. So pressing down evenly in all corners of the feet. Breathing. Just allow gravity to just pull you over. Beautiful. So from here, hands to your hips, and let's slowly come all the way up. Head comes up last. Stepping to the center of the mat. The feet are just in line with the hips, so slightly apart, and we're going to sit back as we're sitting in a chair. So let's inhale the arms straight out in front of us. Arms in line with the shoulders. Take a nice deep inhale. And then exhale and sit back. So sitting back into the heels, which means the weight is in the heels. You can lift your toes. So breathing here. Keep the knees in line with the feet. Hold here for 10, 9. Begin to draw the shoulders back for 8. Breathe for 7, 6. Press down through the heels. 4. Breathing for 3. Maybe you can go a little bit lower for 2. And then 1. So we're going to press the ground away. The arms come down. Do one more of those. So setting up, inhale, arms up. Exhale, sit back. Knees in line with the toes, but draw the knees back, letting the weight into the heels, weight into the glutes. Breathing 10, 9, 8. Draw the shoulders back slightly. 7, 6, 5. Breathing 4, 3, 2, and 1. So from here, bend forward, lift the hips up. So releasing it down. Again, knees are bent as much as they need to be for you to reach the ground. Take the peace fingers and wrap them around the big toes. So peace fingers wrapped around the big toes. Get the feet parallel again, if they've moved. And now press down through that big toe mount and begin lifting through the hips. Lifting the hips is going to help straighten the legs. The chest can be on the thighs. Don't worry about the legs straightening as much as lifting the hips up, because as you lift the hips, it's going to help straighten the legs. Breathe. So completely relax the head. The crown of the head stretching toward the floor. Breathing. Beautiful. So release those toes, hands to the hips, and you can slowly come all the way back up. Okay. So let's do one more. We'll do one more forward fold with our twist in it. So we are going to bend that right knee and then take the right hand on the hip. No, sorry, left hand on the hip. We're going to take the right hand onto the ground. So the right knee is bent, the right hand to the ground. If it doesn't quite reach, you can always just keep the hand on the leg wherever it is comfortable. But if you can reach to the ground, if you can put a pillow there, right hand on the ground, the right knee is bent. Begin to look to the left, opening the chest, open that shoulder, and then allow the left arm to stretch up. Breathe here. So getting a beautiful twist through the torso here. Breathing. And then release left hand down. So now the left knee is going to be bent, straightening through the right leg, right hand to the hip, and start opening to the right. Breathe. The right arm stretches up. Breathing. Press down through the soles of the feet. Open that chest, draw the shoulder back. Breathe. Twisting nicely through the torso. Release the arm down. Knees are bent. Hands to the hips. And we slowly come all the way up. Beautiful. So let's stretch the arms up over the head. Interlace the fingers and press the palms away from you as you stretch it up and lengthen it. Coming to a slight back bend, stretch it back. Press down through the soles of the feet and press the hips forward. Beautiful. Coming back to neutral. Exhale the hands down. So come to the front of the mat. I'm going to go through a bit of a warrior series. So from the front of the mat, let's ground through the soles of the feet and just find a beautiful posture here first. So root down through the soles of the feet, lift up through the thighs, nice strong legs, and engage your core. Standing up nice and tall, shoulders are back. The hands down by the side and palms facing forward, and breathe. Close the eyes. Bring awareness to the body and how strong and tall. Crown of the head is lifting up to the sky. Feel as if a string is attached to the crown, lifting up. Go ahead and open the eyes and take a big step out to the right. So taking a big step back, you can kind of heel toe the foot back even a little bit further. So we're going to go into warrior one first. So the back foot is on just a slight angle, front toes facing forward, and begin to sink into the front hip. Your stance can be as wide as you need it to be in order to be balanced. Make sure the ankle is in front of that knee. So scoot the toes forward as much as you need to. Inhale, the arms come up. Take that left hip back, right with the left leg forward. So draw the left hip back, the right hip forward, squaring the hips to the front of the room. Relax the shoulders down. Breathe. Nice deep breathing here. Sink a little bit more into that front leg. And from here, we're going to open up to warrior two. So keep those hips down if you can, and just twist open the back toes to the side. Readjust as you need to. Sink down into that front knee again, the front leg. So hopefully you can see your big toe. Breathing here. Notice the arm in the back is kind of lowered down, so it should be in line with the shoulders. Eye gaze over the front fingertips. And now I want you to bring the front palm face up, the back palm on the leg, and then begin to lift the arm as you stretch back. We're not lifting the hips stay down, stretch it, so slight back bend, breathe. Notice if your front knee wants to cave in, so keeping that knee rotating out. Breathing. Coming back through warrior two. And now bring the front elbow onto the front leg as you stretch it up. Breathe. So here at this moment, I do have weight on the front knee, but it's very light. Okay, if you don't need it at all, it is nice to kind of rest on there, but making sure that a lot of your core is doing that work. Breathing. Beautiful. So back to warrior two. Straighten that front leg. Heel to the back foot in. Shift the hips back. Stretch it forward. So from here, triangle. So the left arm down, the right arm up. If you want to challenge yourself and instead of staying in triangle, If you want to bring the back foot in and take it into half moon, you can do that, or just stay in your triangle. But it's also a nice little pose to transition to if you're working on that. If not, you're in your triangle pose. So a triangle pose, spiral those ribs open. It's okay if the knee is bent, but again, allowing your core to hold you up. So if you are in your half moon, you're drawing the foot back down. If you're in triangle, looking down, and then inhale as you come up. Lower the hands down. And then we are going to step it up to the front of the mat, but to the other side so that we can do the other side. So stepping it forward, although I guess you can do it on whichever side is good for you in the camera. We'll take it on the other side. So this time, we're taking the left leg out. So big step back with that left foot. So warrior one is first. So the back foot is just on a slight angle. And then begin to sink into that front hip there, the front knee. Squaring the hips to the front of the room. So a really strong back leg. Bending into the front knee. Drawing that right hip back, left hip forward. Relax through your shoulders, breathe. You're breathing. We sink a little bit lower. And now transition warrior two. So open the arms, opening the hips to the side of the room. The back foot opens up and breathe. So readjusting, sinking back into the front knee. Make sure the knee is not going beyond the ankle. Breathe. So warrior two, your final eye gaze is over the front fingers. Glancing down, make sure you can see your big foot. Nope, your big toe. Breathe. Strong core. Now, flip the front palm up. Draw the back hand down. Keep the hips sunken down. And lift the arm up and back. So slight back bend, but keeping the hips down. Breathe. And then from here, transition back through your warrior two with the arms, keeping the hips hopefully in the same spot. Bring the elbow onto the thigh, stretch that arm up and breathe. Breathing, not too much weight on the elbow. Okay, so from here, back to your warrior two. Straighten that front leg, heel toe the back foot in for triangle. So shift the hips back, reach it forward. So you're reaching and really stretching out of the torso area. Right arm comes down, the left arm up. And from here, if you want to transition, the back foot comes in, the right hand down. Okay, so whatever is going to work for you. Breathing. And then we begin to come out of our pose. So you're in triangle, you look down. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, the hands back down, and we'll step it up to the front of the mat. Okay, so let's do one forward fold, or one wide-legged forward fold would be nice. So come to the center of your mat and open the legs wide as you can. Wider the better. You can slightly pigeon toe those toes, the toes slightly in. Take your palms on the back of the thighs. Inhale, lift the heart. Lift up through the thighs, and then exhale. Nice flat back. Chest coming down. The hands coming down the legs. Breathe. So just coming to where it's comfortable for you and you feel a nice stretch in the back of the legs. So you can use your hands to help draw the chest closer, um, closer to the thighs or really your thighs because the legs are open, but just closer so that you're folding the body in half. And breathe. You would feel to kind of take the shoulders away from the ears again. They might kind of tend to hunch over. Just lift the shoulders up, back, draw them down the back, drawing the shoulder blades down. So breathe. And then on your next inhale, we come up. Inhale, lifting, using that core, lift all the way up. And then step the feet together. Exhale. Okay, moving into some of our balance poses. Draw the legs together. Shift the weight over to the left leg. Draw the hands onto the hips. Strong core. Lift the right knee up. Breathing. Begin to draw the foot out slightly. Trying to get it below the knee. And bringing the hands to wherever you're working. Stay on the hips. Knee or foot. Breathe. Maybe you're starting to kick out. And then slowly start to transition out, nice and slow. Take it on the other side. Shift the weight over to the right leg. Strong core. Lift the left knee. Breathe. Nice, strong standing leg. So the standing leg is locked out. And then slowly release. And let's do our bow pose. So shift the weight over to the left leg again. Go ahead and bend, or actually, sorry, bring the right palm out, face up, and then bend your knee and take the palm on the inside of the ankle, drawing the knees back together to get the hips in line. Left arm comes up. And then you can begin to keep the leg back a bit, keeping the knee down. So kicking really the foot in toward the hand. Helps with the counterbalance there. Breathe. And slowly, you can get out of your pose. As the space is to into it. Release the foot, release the hand down. Other side. Shift the weight over to that right leg. Bend the left knee. Left palm comes out, face up. Take the palm on the inside of the left ankle, or maybe you're grabbing the foot. Draw the knees back together. Right arm comes up. Breathe. So staying here, or begin kicking into your hand. Begin to release. Hand, hold the leg. Deep inhale. Exhale. Into tree pose. Shifting the weight over to the left leg. A nice, strong standing leg. Engage the core. The sole of the foot anywhere on the leg, except the knee. And then begin to draw your knee back. So kind of opening the hips. And that's why it's hard to draw that knee back, because this is also a hip opener. Balance. So once you have your standing leg, you're balancing, lift up out of those hips, elongate that spine up, begin to grow. Taking the eye gaze up for a challenge. Bringing the hands back together, down to heart center. We'll come into our leg balance here. So shift that knee forward and kick the leg out. Holding it up. Hands to hips or heart center for 5, 4. Lift the leg. 3, 2, 1. Release. Other side, right leg. Nice and strong. So drawing the knee back, engage that core, lift up out of the hips so that you get the hips in line, really. So elongate the side of the body, the spine is lifting up, the crown is lifting up. The arms begin to lift up. Breathe. Bring the hands back together, down to the center. Knee shifts forward, the leg kicks out. 5, 4, 3, breathe. 2, lift the leg, release. Beautiful. So we will make our way down onto the mat. So down onto the ground. And yeah, roll all the way back down onto the mat. Roll all the way back. So stretch the legs out, stretch the arms up over the head. Breathe in. And then exhale, release the arms down. So taking the kind of shoulder blades out from front of you. Slightly tuck your chin. Inhale that right leg up. Bending the knee in. Interlace the fingers just below the knee. Flex your toes. Inhale. Exhale. Draw the knee in. Inhale. Exhale. Squeeze. Toes are flexed. Chin is slightly tucked. Shoulders are grounded. Continue breathing. Each exhale, drawing the knee in. Beautiful. So release the hands. Lift the toes up. The leg stretches up. And allow it to float back down. Nice and controlled using the core. Other side. Lifting the left knee up and in. So setting up. Interlace the fingers just below the knee. Flex the toes. Ground the shoulders down. Inhale. Exhale. Draw the knee in. Chin is slightly tucked. Inhale. Exhale. Draw the knee in. So you're squeezing that knee in. Beautiful. Release the hands. Stretch the leg up toward the sky and float them down. Nice control. And this time, we'll take both legs up. Bend the knees in. Give yourself a big hug. So either grabbing the hands, wrists, or the elbows and draw the back of the head onto the mat. Flex your toes and draw the tailbone down. Round the arms, the shoulders as best you can. Slightly tuck that chin. Inhale. Exhale. Draw the knees in. Press the tailbone down. Inhale. Exhale, big hug. Pressing the tailbone down. Again, inhale. Exhale, squeeze. Beautiful. So release. Bringing the soles of the feet onto the mat. Go ahead and grab your strap. We're going to do some leg stretches here. So extend the left toes out onto the ground. And then we're going to take the strap around the right ball of the foot, or your scarf or your towel. And then stretch that leg straight up, keeping the hands kind of close to your chest. So allowing the shoulders to stay grounded. And then begin to draw the leg back towards you. So feeling that stretch through the hamstring. Breathe. Beautiful. So then kind of back off a little bit and getting it just in a neutral position there. So take the strap with the right hand. If the right leg is up, you're going to take your left hand on the left hip to help you keep the left hip grounded. So you open the leg. So left hip is staying grounded, shoulders are grounded as best they can. Beautiful. So begin to pull on the strap Keep the leg up. Pulling the strap lifting your leg. And now we're going to take the strap with the left hand. The right hand can stretch out shoulder height. And now allow the leg to fall across the body. Feeling this in the outer hip. Breathe. Breathe. Nice, slow, deep, controlled breath. In through the nose, out through. Into pull on your scarf. Bring that leg back up to the center. Bend the knee, you can release the strap there. And then allow that leg to stretch out. Onto the ground. There's quite a difference between the legs now. So let's stretch the other side. So go ahead, bend the left knee. Take the strap around the ball of the foot. Extend the foot up. Draw the hands back down near you. And then begin to draw the leg towards you. So drawing the leg toward the thigh. Breathe. And press the heel up towards the sky. Now, bringing that leg back to a neutral position. Take the strap with the left hand, so our left leg is up, right hand, right hip. Allow the leg to fall open. Breathe. And two, pull the foot up, pulling on your strap there all the way back to the center. Switch hands. Bring the left arm out to the side and allow the leg to fall across. So we're trying to keep the shoulders grounded, just allowing the leg to go across. Beautiful. So we're going to pull on that strap, lifting the leg back all the way up. Bend the knee, release the strap, lift the leg back down. Lift the arms up over the head, stretch the body in opposite direction, stretch it. And release. Now, Bring the knees into the chest. Sorry, I'm gonna go here. Okay. Sorry about that. So I do one final little move before we do our final twist. Let's bring the legs up toward the ceiling. So we're on our backs, legs up to the ceiling. So we're just gonna hang out here with the feet elevated this way. So you can stay like this. If it feels good to kind of support and put your hands kind of under the hips, you can do that. There. Or if you like to come more into a shoulder stand, you're going to be lifting the hips up and then using the hands and just on the hips there. Breathe. So if you're in shoulder stand, just be sure not to move the neck around once you're in it. Another great relaxing kind of rejuvenating pose would be legs up the wall. So you can actually have support on your legs as when you're sitting up against the wall and bringing the legs up. Sometimes not the easiest to get into, but feels really nice. You could do that, or just even propping the legs up onto the couch when you're lying on the ground. So if you're in shoulder stand and you like to kind of finish going into your cloud pose, you allow your hips to lower a bit and then the feet come up and over the head. Hands up to the ground. So breathing. If you're ready to lower your legs, and you certainly can. I'm going to set up for our final twist. So if you're in your plow pose, you can begin to lower the hips down, taking the legs all the way down. Out of the shoulder stand, lowering the hips, lowering the hips. So we're going to come into our final twist. So you can bend your knees, soles of the feet onto the earth. So the feet can stay on the ground, or if you like to lift them up, either way, stretch those arms out to a T. Allow the knees to fall to the right. Taking your eye gaze the opposite direction. If you can stack your feet, you don't have to, but you can. And then keeping your shoulders grounded. You may like to take the right hand on the outside of the left thigh. You like to apply a bit more pressure and a bit more stretch there. So whatever feels good for your body, just allowing the eyes to close wherever you are. Breathing, relaxing. Bringing the head back to neutral. And then bring the knees up to the center. And we're going to stacking the feet again, if that's available. Arms out to a T. Shoulders are grounded. Close the eyes. Maybe the left hand is on the outside of the right thigh. Also, bring your neck back to a neutral position. Bring the knees back up through the center. Soles of the feet onto the ground. Open the knees. Soles of the feet together. Hands onto the belly. Nice deep inhale through the nose. Allow the belly to rise. Exhale, the belly falls. Inhale, the belly falls. Exhale, the belly falls. And slowly begin to transition into your Shavasana. The legs extend out. The legs are met with distance apart. The toes falling away from one another. The shoulders with you. Allow your palms to be face up. The arms are down by the sides, but away from the sides. Take a nice deep inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Slightly tuck your chin. Relax your face. Relax your jaw. Bringing awareness to your body. Continuing to breathe in through the nose, out through the nose. Allowing the breath to flow from the front of the head, down through the arms, up to the core, all the way down the legs, up to the toes. Bringing awareness to the body. Feeling free. Feeling joining your hand. Beautiful.